Hey, it's Ethan here at etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat Sherpa 2.0 Hitch Bike Rack and how it fits on our 2022 GMC Sierra 1500. The Sherpa 2.0 is a two-bike platform style bike rack capable of supporting two bikes up to 40 pounds apiece. It's going to hold on to our bike primarily with this front wheel hook here and one strap down here on our back tire. So there's no frame contact. If you want to get a carbon frame bike on here, you can. Alternative frame bikes will work as well, because it does hold on by the wheel instead of the frame. One of the first features that we're going to get into is the fact that we can tilt the rack away with the bikes loaded up. Although the handle isn't in my favorite spot, it can kind of be a little bit weird to get to, especially if you have another bike loaded up in the front. But we'll do it right now and tilt the rack towards us. It's not the most aggressive tilt in the world, but right now if you have a tonneau cover, it would be a good chance for you to get into the bed of your truck. Show you how close we get. We don't get all the way down with our tailgate. Right about here is as far as we can get before we start to make contact with our bike. So again, if you do have a tonneau cover, now would be the time to get in there. Otherwise, if you don't and you have bed access, you can walk behind and grab what else you might need out of the bed at this point. You can tilt the rack back up. You'll hear it click into place, and now we can work on getting the bike removed. To do that, we'll first start with the strap on the back wheel. All we need to do is press this button and pull the strap out. Just let it hang there for now. Now we'll hold on to the frame of our bike. Once we release this frame hook, it'll start to move, which we'll do by pressing that button, pulling up, and pushing out. And now we can get our bike up and off. So I'll put this to the side, and then we can take a closer look at some other features on the rack, including the trays and the cradles that hold the bike in place. Starting first with this front cradle. As it comes, it's able to support a tire width of 3 inches. And we can close that down to store it when we're not using it. Also, this back cradle does have the ability to pivot, which allows us to support a wheelbase of up to 47 inches. From here, there is also this metal lock core on the tray. There's a cable lock. It's included. It's not integrated onto the rack, but this is where that would store. Now from here, we can take a look and see how much space we've added on to the back of our vehicle. So I'll measure from the bumper to the furthest point back to give you an idea of what that would be. In our case, that's going to be about 34 inches added on. So we do add a good amount of distance to the back of the vehicle. In this position, as far as ground clearance goes, it's going to be about 27 inches from the ground to the furthest point in the back. So there's a pretty nice rise in the shank, and the Sierra sits tall enough that I'm not going to worry about that as far as going up hills, over curbs, and bottoming out. But if we want to, we can save a little bit of space. Pulling that same handle that we did to tilt the rack down, we can fold it up towards the vehicle. Again, it'll lock in place, and we'll get a new measurement so we can see how much of that space we've saved. Now from the bumper to the furthest point out, it's going to be about 16.5 inches, so we cut down on a lot of space that way. And it doesn't sit very close, nor does it move very much in this position, so I'm not going to worry about it hitting the back of my vehicle. As far as what we cover, honestly, it doesn't take up a ton of space here in the middle. So our license plate is down there, but you should be able to see it from a lot of different angles. Same thing with our backup camera. They're up here in the middle, so you're probably going to see the rack out of the bottom of there, but you're going to have a good range of view outside of the rack. It sits pretty small in the middle, so it doesn't come anywhere near our taillights, and it's not tall enough that it's going to interfere with our tailgate or our rear window as far as the view goes. We can come down now and take a closer look at the shank and how it fits into our hitch receiver. So for this rack, it does use a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch hitch receiver. It's held in place by this pin and the lock core that's going to be key-like to that lock on the tray we talked about earlier. It's all going to be held in place by this anti-rattle knob here on the back. So it's really easy to install. It's tool-free, so you don't have to worry about bringing anything with you besides the rack. So overall, if you're looking for a pretty easy way to get two bikes up to 40 pounds where you need them to go, the Kuat Sherpa 2.0 is definitely a solid option. Tilts, it folds. It's got that Kuat finish, so it looks really nice while it's doing it. I will say, If you want something that works in a similar way, but maybe comes in at a little bit more of an affordable price, you could check out something like the Rocky Mountain Monorail. It's able to support a 5-inch tire width right off the bat and up to 60 pounds. It's going to work in a very similar way with that front wheel hook. But if you do like the Sherpa for that Kuat finish and all the features we talked about in this video, it's definitely still a really solid choice. This again was just a quick look at the Kuat Sherpa 2.0 hitch bike rack and how it fits on our 2022 GMC Sierra 1500.